Okay, so I'm just going to share screen. We'll start with our first lesson. Don't mind the Jatang orange. So this is the first story that you will meet in class 1. Okay, if those of you, I think a lot of you want to teach class 1 and 2, the first story you will meet is Manu Smiles Again. Now, how many of you have read or know this story? If you know it in Kuti short also, you can put it in the chat box. I am reading it, so you can put it in short form if you know this story. If you say don't know, that is also good. You can give me a thumbs down saying I don't know, that's also fine. Anyone knows? Anyone? Just gonna wait a few more seconds. Okay, no replies yet. The importance of Topukarnam, amazing. Bindu Madhvi, amazing. Sarika ji, perfect. Brilliant. Some of you are saying no, that's fine. I will just quickly tell you the story. The story is about Topukarnam, okay? The essence of the story is about Topukarnam, but how the story goes is, once upon a time, there was a boy called Manu. He was very sad. As you can see the picture, hopefully it's visible to all of you. He was very sad when he was in school, and all his friends tried to cheer him up a lot. Okay, they tried very hard, they did different things, and nothing really worked out. Finally, one day Mushika, this little mouse, was wandering around, and he saw that Manu was feeling very sad, and so he started doing Topukarram, and so Manu started laughing. That's all the story. Skutti story, and talking about how the Topukarnam is called in the West. Does anyone know this word? Super brain yoga, Aruna Devi, amazing. Yeah. So in the West, Topukarnam is called super brain yoga because as you pull your earlobes, what it does is it activates the oxygen in your body and makes you a lot more awake. Exercise in general doesn't need to be boring. I know as adults, a lot of us think, oh, exercise is so boring. But this is to introduce the fun aspect of exercise to kids. Okay. So this is essentially the story. So I will go back. Now you tell me, what do you think the kids need to know from this? I already gave away many clues, but what do you think the kids need to know from this? Any ideas? Topukarnam, yes, that is the essence. But what is the knowing part the child must know in this story? To be active, very good, Primama, perfect. Any other thoughts? Pose makes a change in your poise, very good. To be pleasant, important of exercise, keep smiling, beautiful. Make others happy. So Upakarnam is not only traditional but also scientific. Brilliant. All of you are quite on the dot. I'm just going to the next slide. It is to understand that exercise, one, three kutti things, okay? Exercise makes you stronger. Second thing, exercise makes you happier. A lot of you said smiling, happy, cheerful, enjoy the activity, exactly. And appreciate the importance of exercise in our daily lives. So three things: happy, healthy, and daily. That's all. These three things. Okay. And what should you feel after this class? You want the children to feel after this class that they should feel happy doing exercise. There is somehow in our lives, especially as adults, when we teach children, it's like, oh, exercise is so boring. But we need to make it that it's so much fun. And the do that we want them to learn is to do exercise on a daily basis. That's not boring. It can be done even for 5 minutes is a lot of fun. So now you all know what is the knowing, you know what the feeling is, and you also know the doing. So let us go to our next slide. You all know why exercise is important. Yes, I'm sure you know very much. You have heard on every news channel, on every article you read about how exercise is important. These are some things: improves brain activity, beautiful. These are some things that you already know. I don't have to tell you all of this. You have read enough and more, and you know that it heart and lungs, sleep is better. Those of you who are having trouble sleeping, please exercise. It helps you a whole lot, and it helps you in a lot of ways. This is great that we know this. Question is, how do we communicate this to a first standard child? No, you cannot tell heart and lungs and brain and all of this. They will be like, I don't understand what you're saying. So to communicate this for a child, what you can do is ask them this. These are the set of questions you can ask. You can also answer, what do you think is the most favorite period for children? Answer is there, but they like maths or science or craft. What do they love? PT period. You can cut any class. They are okay. It is fine. Don't cut PT period. They will get very upset because they love PT period. And so you can introduce this to them and say, okay, you all love, what is your favorite period? You like PT period. Beautiful. Sports, lecture, I don't know. Sports, they like to play. Okay. So they love to play. So you can say you all love playing. So that is great. Now, do you ever feel tired after the PT period? Now they will say, yes, miss, sometimes I feel tired. I want to drink water. There are two kinds of tired. Tired is where you're dull and sleeping in the class, or you're like, oh, the class is so boring. Or the tired is, oh, I just need to rehydrate. Correct? Dance, music, all of them fall. Dance is also physical movement, games. Correct? So PT period fills you with energy. Once you drink a few sips of water or drink a little bit of water, you're feeling active again. After that, your mind is very alert and you're able to learn. Right? So you can make the connection that you love PT, hence you must love exercise. So exercise is very natural. It comes very naturally to all of us and we love to do it. Since we love it so much, we should do it on a daily basis. And who better to learn from our Mushika, the little mouse, on how to do the exercise. Okay, so shall we try it? If you are all okay, those of you that I can see on the screen, I can see only a few of you. Let's try it once, okay? I have made a kuti poem that you can sort of sing. I am not very great at making poems. You were all teachers for much longer. So you can obviously modify it and make it better. But if you're ready, please stand up. I will teach you how to do the kuti topakarna, okay? So just all of you stand up. You all had lunch, I know. So just stand a little bit. If you have a knee issue, I also have a couch right here. So you can do a half topakarnam, even sitting on the chair and getting up. That is also okay. But please stand. Just try it with me for a few minutes. No, just notice what the effect is on your body. Okay. So all of you, please get up. QCOM BTD Shield. Come on. Stand up, stand up. I'm waiting for you. Thank you. All right. So now that we're standing, okay, I'm going to take this up. What you do is hold on to your ears. Cross your hands, hold your ears tightly. Okay. Imagine you are a naughty child in your own class and hold the ears. Now all you want to do is be straight and just bend the knees as much as you can. Once and coming up. And as you do, pull your ears. Okay. For two, pull a little bit more and get up. So the song goes, bend your knees, hold your ears. Very good. Be fast like the bees. Those of you who are very good, you can go even a little bit faster. And by doing the topakarna, what you do, you become smart like the deers. Thank you. Come and sit down. Thank you for being such great participants. Much love to you. I know on a full belly, sometimes this can be hard, but thank you for trying. So this is a sweet little song that I made up. Obviously, as I said, you're welcome to make it a little bit more better. The song goes, bend your knees, hold your ears, be fast like the bees and smart like the deers. I love topakarnam, you love topakarnam. So as they do the topakarnam, you can get them to sing this so that it sort of goes with them understanding what the topakarna means. And you can tell them that it is called brain yoga. You can even show them that small video. I'm sure you have all seen it to death. So I am not playing it. Where you have seen, they call it brain yoga and they make kids do it in school. So if you want, you can play that. Or you can just do it in class and that is good and sufficient as well. How you can teach this class, this is just some options. You are all, as I said, much better teachers than I can possibly be. You can use the picture of Manu and you can have a little curved smile, okay? And say how Manu was very sad. And then you turn the smile upside down. After doing Topakarnam, how did Manu become? He became really happy. That's all. So just doing like this sort of movement will help register in their brain that exercise can be three things. What are the three things? Who remembers? Make you strong. Second one, makes you happy. You can put it in the chat box if you know. Make you strong, make you happy. And yes, thank you. So it makes you strong, makes you happy. These two things you must make sure that you communicate, okay? You can have a cutout of the Mushika because children love animals. So it's always nice to do that. And how Manu became a little bit happier with the movement. For this class, make sure there is enough space. Obviously, children are doing this. You don't want them bumping into sharp edges. I'm presuming you'll be going to the school, no? So make sure they're not bumping into the corners of the desk and all of that, that there's enough space. I know in kindergarten, at least in Chinmaya Vidyalaya, I've seen that they normally make a square arrangement. If that's the arrangement in school, in the sense it's the borders of the square is how your class is. If that's the arrangement of your school, go ahead. So that you don't want them hitting each other each other and bumping into each other, because they'll want to do that just to have fun. So just make sure that, and they're wearing comfortable clothing, which mostly they're uniform anyways, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. So how you can do this is you can teach children to say, every time you're telling the song or you're telling the story, if you say Topukarnam, they have to do once. You can even have a Topukarnam competition. In 30 seconds, who can do the fastest number of Topukarnams? Something like that also you can do. Now, if there is a child that is uncomfortable doing this, which we shouldn't body shame or shouldn't tell a child, oh, you can't do, come on, try. If they're not comfortable, it is fine. There is always an alternative in exercise. It's not like this is the only way. So if they're finding it hard, you can do Vrikshasana, 3 poses, okay? For those of you that don't know what Vrikshasana looks like, is you just take one leg into the inner thighs and your hands are at your heart center. That's all. This is Vrikshasana. Again, another pose that promotes a lot of balance, a lot of alertness in the brain. Okay, so you can give alternatives. I'm sure a lot of you have seen children do lots of things. So you can just give them some different alternative. If they're not comfortable doing the Topukarnam, this is just a lovely alternative that you can do. Any questions so far? In KG, we are already doing this calling Ganesh Vandanam. Lovely. You already know the lesson very well. There was no need. Any questions so far, or you're feeling okay? No? All good? Awesome. So what we want to do is just encourage our beautiful children to do 5 minutes of exercise every day. This is more so important in our day-to-day lives. You know, you're seeing, I'm sure after lockdown, children are always on the phone or on the screen. So when they come back, it's good that we start inculcating this habit early. So as they grow older, it's registered in their mind. And if they're ever feeling sad, exercise is a great way to boost some endorphins. I'm sure you also have felt this. You know, someday when something is very wrong, like the husbands or the wives are getting to this thing, or there's some sort of a trouble at home, you'll want to go for a walk. Have you ever noticed this? You'll want to go for a walk and be like, I need to walk and calm my mind down, or I need to walk and clear my mind down. Yeah? So even as we walk, we know it intuitively. It's not somebody has to tell us. Intuitively, we understand that, okay, let me go for a walk and I will be able to clear the mind. So if you're ever feeling sad, some sort of movement is always promoted, and I want you to be able to share this with the children. Only when we say, like, I do this when I'm sad, so you must also try it. We're doing it in morning assembly. Amazing. Wow. Then the kids are inspired to do the same. Okay? So this is the first lesson in class 1. Simple, easy to understand. Right? All right. We will now go to the second lesson. If I'm going too fast, please tell me. This is just some assessments that you can say is that children like doing exercise. They're having fun while they're doing it. Group Topukarnam or something like that you can make them do. When we have summer camps in Chinmaya Mission, Swamiji makes us do group Topukarnam. What that means is, say I will stand here, one more person is standing in front, and I will hold her ears and she will hold mine, and together we do. Or sometimes we do it in a big circle. So all this makes it a bit more fun way of teaching the same thing. 2 things, active and fun. That's all they need to have through the whole class. Okay. So this is class 1. Lesson 1 is over in physical development. Easy, simple, right? We'll now move on to the next one, which is Lata sits tall. Okay. Very good. All right. What do you think this lesson can be about? You only tell me. Have a guess. I'm sure some of you read, some of you didn't read, but just have a guess. Lata sits tall. What do you think this lesson can be about? Postures. Amazing, Gayatri. Perfect. Posture. This is something we must inculcate from a very young child. As a yoga teacher, I will tell you, the amount of things that we have to tell people how to sit straight is, it is a big deal. And I'll explain to you why, so that you understand. Okay. Now, your heart, your lungs, your belly, everything that is important in your body is right here. Correct? Legs and hands are not holding any organs. The organs are right here. So if your entire life you're sitting like this, then imagine it's like taking your car but tying like ropes around it, fully around the wires and around the wheel, and telling to drive the car. It will be impossible, no? You will never be able to drive the car with so many ropes around the wheel. So too, imagine your heart and lungs functioning with this much space, right? So when you sit straighter, come on, you can join me in sitting a little bit straighter. What we do is we give more space for the body to breathe and to work properly. This much we don't have to tell the children. Simply, in simplistic terms, we all know the importance of sitting straight. All of you have already already written that it helps in your heart, in your lungs, these parts of you, right, that are squished are now able to breathe properly. And what also happens, especially as adults, you must know, think of the first pain that you all have. When you are having a terrible day in school, where do you normally have pain? Right? Tell me. Any answers? Head, okay, headaches. Do you have neck pain? Are you always like this? Back pain, very good. Yes. Always we are like, I don't know why, but my neck and shoulders are always holding tension and my lower back is holding tension. These are all postural things. Whether you realize it or not, no, when we get too much tense, we sit like this. Too much tension. No, tension makes the body crunching. So we got to really open up the shoulders. So even now, as you're sitting, make sure you're not sitting like this. Over desks, we have this habit, so just sitting really nice and straight. Now, as we teach this lesson, it is very important you know this, because otherwise they will be like, Miss, you are not sitting straight. So children are very naughty. They will point and say all of this. So just make sure our spine is nice and straight and we are sitting straight through the whole 60 minutes. You must be thinking, Rohini, this is very nice. Theory and all sounds very good. I understand this. I am going to practice it sincerely now on. How am I going to teach this to the children? Good question. Very good. That is why we are coming to this. These are some things that will be there in the book. Okay, if you have the book, you'll be able to see this. How this is how to hold the posture. We'll go into this in a second. I want to just go to the next slide. Is you can ask them, have you ever seen a supermodel or an actor? How does an actor walk? You can just do this thing, no? Say, if you were a certain actor, how would you walk in the classroom? And you can make them walk. Now say, if you were a sad, unhappy person, how will you walk in the classroom? You can ask them. Then say, if you're an old man or an old lady, how will you walk in the classroom? They'll walk like this, hunched, right? First thing we do to signify old age is to hunch the spine. And if you have to show an actress or a supermodel or an actor, you'll sit really nice and straight and just like very prim and proper. So they automatically, intuitively understand that a straight spine equals it's the youth of the body lives in the spine. So you can say just like that, as the actor and the supermodel are imbuing or showing confidence, we must also always be confident, and that's why we must sit straight. And then you can ask, do you see, hear your mummy say, your back is paining, neck is paining? To remove all of that from our lives forever, set the posture. So that is one way you can show this, teach this lesson to the kids. And if you're wondering the technicality of this is also there in the lesson. Okay, how do you stand when you're standing up? As you can see, this slouched back is turned around. So you can actually have two kids standing next to each other and say, one act like a slouched person. Okay, now one act really nice and straight. You can show them even in the chair. You can see that most of us, the backrest of the chair is for resting the back, but we don't. We rest all over our tables and our chairs. So again, just a nice reminder to show them what it's like to sit straight in their own chairs. And with books and these huge bags, how they should ideally be standing. Again, chest open, shoulders. Just understand this. When this part is open and feeling confident, then the body is automatically in a straight posture. So this is essentially what this lesson is about. So the knowing is to develop and understand what correct posture is. That good posture means no back pain, okay, and it will lead to healthier living. So what is the feeling you want? Remember, knowing is one thing, feeling is different thing, and doing is completely different. What is the feeling you want to incite in the children is that they must understand what it feels like to sit straight. And that's why I said, do the old person, do the actor, do a very confident young man. So then you will be able to show them, they will feel it. And then when they're doing the old person or somebody sad, you can say, how does it make you feel? And they will say, oh, my back is already feeling tired from hunching, or it makes me feel sad. So you can get the feeling aspect of it, that sitting straight actually makes you feel a lot more confident, and it'll keep your mind a lot more alert. What is the doing? Simple thing, no? Don't become exclamation mark, sorry, don't become the question mark, become the exclamation mark. You all know these things. These are things that you heard many, many times. So this is essentially this lesson here. Are we okay here? Yes? All good? You can even just give me a thumbs up. I'll be able to see. So the main message is that you don't want any pain in the body. A healthy body means no pain. This all of you must also understand. That there is no pain. Your body is working better with the good posture. You feel more confident and you're not at all lethargic. The story you can tell, the story is about two sisters, and there is Lata and Geeta, and they were exactly similar to each other. They did everything same, except Lata was always slouching and Geeta was sitting straight till she got back pain, and then they went to the doctor to check, and the doctor gave those pictures I showed you, know, do's and don'ts. She started sitting straight with the help of her sister, and then her sister would always encourage her, Lata sit straight, Lata sit straight, and that's how she adjusted her posture. So this is the story in very brief, and you can do it, teach it to them, and they will be able to understand it very easily in their home. This you just need comfortable clothes and just space in the desk. I mean, you're in their desk itself to sit down. What you can do with this is very nice activities. Okay, if you want, you can try it with me. I don't know how many of you are up for it. Actually, if you're not, just try. What I want you to do is stand up and go stand near the wall, straight against the wall. Keep your hips, your shoulders, and your back against the wall. And when you do this, no, the body will automatically come into the straight line. So if you want to try, you're welcome to. If you're not, okay, no, I understand as well. But if you like, just welcome. Just standing up straight will maintain the straightness of the posture. Another beautiful thing you can do with this is to balance anything on the head. So even right now I have the phone, but even just keeping it above your head and maintaining a straight posture. You can even ask them with a pen or something that is a little bit more difficult, and it will become. Try it for yourself. No, keep one thing. Keep anything that is there on your desk. Anything. Take it. Just place it. Hopefully it's not round. And then just sit tall. Sit as straight as you can. It should not be round, right? Already fell down. Just maintain that. Sit straight. Imagine like there's a rope pulling you up. Sit even straighter. See if you can balance it comfortably. Now let's try some movement. Okay, now slowly just move one hand. Look at your right hand. Stretch it out and look at your right hand. Okay, bring it back slowly. Ready? Left hand, don't drop your phone. I will not drop. Look at the left fingertip. See if you can turn your head carefully to look at the left hand. Slowly bring it back, eyes following. So something like this you can do, okay? Releasing. I hope you had a bit of fun. These are like some fun ways to help them to sit straight. You can imagine you're like a plant that's growing to the sunlight. Some fun, words that you can use. The plant, when it's sad, when it has no water, becomes like this. So you can use all of these things. And you can do this. Have one child to become captain upright for the day. That means their job is to make sure everybody is sitting straight. In my house, unfortunately or fortunately, I have become this torturous person. Amma sits straight, Abba sits straight, Juhu, my sister, sits straight. So you can have one person to be the captain upright in the class to sort of make sure all the children are sitting as straight as they can. You can have group-wise competitions and things like that. It will be fun. Okay, so essentially, you want them to understand what good posture is and to correct themselves if they are slouching. With this, class 1 is over. Very, very, very simple lesson. We have time. So I will go first to the last lesson in class 2 because that's a little bit more sensitive and I want to take some time. And then if we have time, we'll come to the other lesson. So this I will come back to. Just bear with me in a second. But I want to take this lesson. This is a little bit of a sensitive lesson, so I need you to be present. This is called Safety Superstar, this lesson. Anyone has read it? Oh, my voice is breaking. Is it okay now, Vinodji? Okay, thank you, Ranjuji. So this lesson is called Safety Superstar. Again, sensitive subject because how many have read it? Anyone knows what this is about? Good touch, bad touch. Lovely, Binduji. Yes, this is about good touch, bad touch. And we need to teach it in a very matter-of-fact way. It is something that is absolutely essential for this day, the lives we are in, and this society we're living in. Unfortunately or fortunately, this has to be taught and taught in a very matter-of-fact yet very sensitive way. Okay, so I'm going to take some time with this. Bear with me, and then if we have time, we'll go to Little Yoda. Okay. So essentially what this lesson does is, I'll tell you the story in really brief. There is a young girl. She gets a badge called Safety Superstar. She goes out to play with her friends and her friends are telling, oh, how did you get this badge? And she said, I did the safety course with my mama and I got this badge. So they go home and the mama takes them also through this course. What is the course about? which is the next page. What is good touch and bad touch? I would urge you to have little golden stars so that you can write like safety superstar or something and give it to each child. It's only second standard, they really enjoy these things. So if you can make these little badges, that by the end of the course, end of the class, you can give it to them also. They'll also feel like, okay, this is something that I need to learn and understand and keep it in my mind. So this is for you, not for the children, for you to understand how important this is. 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 20 boys are victims of child abuse nowadays. It is rampant, it is everywhere, and we must teach our children to be ready or how to handle this situation. And only as parents we can do this, because not parents, as teachers, sometimes parents even shy away from talking about these things. And I love that our value education book is encompassing something, a very sensitive subject like this, in being able to teach it to children. What do? Is children must learn to feel comfortable enough to tell an adult. Okay, and the key is they must tell 2 adults. Why 2? This is something you must reinforce as you teach the lesson. As you tell 1 adult, say for example 1 adult, there is a chance to just like push it away. Just be like, no, it's okay, it was nothing, I think you misunderstood. But if you tell 2 adults, there is a chance that it will become a proper thing. Got it? So we must reinforce with the children that they must tell at least minimum 2 adults, and the child should not feel bad. If something is wrong, they must feel confident that they can tell somebody. And this we must empower them. Now, this you understood about all the story everywhere. How do you teach the children? This is what I came up with. And I would love to hear your feedback. If somebody also like this is great. So I was saying, now if you all want to go and meet Rajnikant, is it very easy? Can you call and say, hello Rajnikant, I want to meet you, and tomorrow for lunch you can go out to Sarvana Bhavan with Rajnikant? Is that possible? No chance at all. Correct? If you have to meet Rajnikant, it takes a long time. Say you met him. Is it likely that you were like, actually Rajnikant, you and I, we will have lunch in your house. You tell your cook to cook for us. Is it likely he will invite you to his house and say, please come home? No. Okay. So meeting him is hard. Eating food in his house is very hard. Third question. You met Rajnikant. Now you suddenly are like, oh, I want to hug Rajnikant. You think his bodyguards will say, oh, you want to hug? Please go and hug Rajnikant. They will let you jump on him and give him a hug. No chance. Correct? Superstars only allow a few people to touch them. So if we want to be like a superstar, we will only allow a few people to touch us in the right way. So this is one way you can communicate it to the children. Because it's sensitive, they must understand there are boundaries. So this is one way you can say you must be cool, you must be like a superstar. And depending on where you are from, I know Tamil Nadu, Rajinikanth is the one. Maybe in North India, you can use Shah Rukh Khan or whoever it is. The region-specific hero for this. So this is a nice way to communicate this subject to the children. Okay, and essentially, we must make them know what is good touch and bad touch. 2, they must understand they are the masters of their bodies. Okay, that they should not, sometimes this is a sensitive thing, so just hear me out. Obviously, I'm open to discussion. We'll say, no, go and give that auntie a hug, go and do this. If they are not comfortable, we must empower them to say no. Sometimes they don't share with us because they're like, come on, don't be like this, go and hug them. They are not comfortable because for whatever reason, children are sometimes a lot purer than us in their understanding. So empower children that they have the ability to say no. Okay? They must not allow anybody to touch them. They must feel comfortable. And if something happens, feel brave. That you don't have to hold back. This is not taboo. This is not something to feel shy about. You can scream as loudly as you can. I'll come into how to teach this lesson in 2 seconds. What is the do? Do not let anyone touch you in an uncomfortable way. Saying no is very, very, very important here. Now, class arrangement. As I said, sensitive subject. I was thinking if I had to teach this, I would prefer them to be in a huddle. What I mean is teacher is sitting, all the students are sitting below and you're having a nice conversation. So it feels close. It feels intimate. These are the main messages. But what I want you to do is how you can teach this class is you can do, if somebody comes to do anything to you, what is the first thing you should say, children? And you should get them to say the word no. And this might be a little bit noisy and it is okay. You can ask them, who can scream loudest no? loudly get them to scream as loudly as they can. Say if somebody touches you in a way that is uncomfortable, first thing you should do is scream no as loudly as you can. And then you can have like a competition between the left class, right class, saying no. And then you can also do a pop quiz. So remember that first slide I showed you. Say if I touch you here, is it good touch, bad touch? If somebody strange comes and touches you here, is that good touch? So you can play like this. And say what is good touch, what is bad touch. You can have a small quiz. Last as activity that you can do is give them a scenario as something has happened. Say something has happened. Your best friend came and told you this happened. What will you do? Who will you go and tell? Make them role play so that they get comfortable talking about these things. A lot of children feel shame, they feel guilt, they feel upset. So the more we get them to speak, the better it is. Okay. So maybe have a little role play to say what will you do if you know somebody did happen to somebody this happened, your best friend this happened. What will you do? As I said, you can cut out little stars and give it to each child after the class. They'll feel good about it. And for the story, if you're feeling not okay to teach it or you're not sure how to, have a doll. In the story, it goes wherever you wear your underwear, those are places nobody should touch you. I'm going to go a level beyond. You're teaching second standard children. Upper parts, nobody touches them. I mean, they're not wearing underwear, some of them. So they don't understand, right? So you can say no to places that are your mouth, your chest, the place in between your legs, and your buttocks. These are no. And don't think children will start giggling and laughing about this. At this point of time, all they know is these are body parts. That ha ha he teenage year has not yet come. So you can make a small poem if you can, if you don't think it's too crass, just so that it gets into their brain. That mouth, chest, the place in between your legs, and buttocks are no. So you can say hands, maybe yes. And then all of these parts, no. So get the class to scream loudly so that they understand this. Any questions so far about this? No? They're good. Main message is child should take ownership of their body. They must feel comfortable. And nobody should touch you if you're not comfortable. When I mean ownership, I mean that. That if you're not comfortable with something, don't let anyone touch you. And if they do, scream loudly and tell how many adults? 2 adults. Okay. So this is essentially the main things you want to be able to teach the kids. And this is the assessment. Ma'am, 1 minute. Can you show the previous slide? Yes. This one? Satyaji, was it this one? Yes. Okay, great. All right. So I hope this is comfortable. This is again a sensitive little subject, but I want you to touch. We are at 35. So I'm going to keep 5 minutes for questions. If you have any questions, please ask. There will be boys and girls. So both this, that's why I put the first slide. I'm so glad you asked this. This is not something only for girls. 1 in 20 boys is still a victim of child abuse. I know enough and more friends, boys, who have been abused as well. Even for them, same thing. No boy should ever be touched on the mouth or on the buttock or the place in between the legs or the chest. It feels uncomfortable regardless of your gender. So this rule applies regardless of your gender. Okay, so don't worry about gender. This is happening across the board. Any other doubts? Even on the previous lessons, if I ran too quickly, want the Topu Karnam song? Share. 1 second. I'll just go to that. This one, I don't have time. Okay, so I'm just going to just show you one. This, if you want, I'll send this also to you. This is the class on yoga poses. There are little things like this where the yoga pose is imposed on, like this is cobra pose. So you can see it's the cobra pose, crow pose. So these are things that you can use. I will send this across. I know I haven't gone into the lesson, but I just wanted to show you. If it's confusing you, just delete the what I said in the last 3 minutes to your mind. I will send it. And at any point of time, if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. I'm just showing you the Topu Karnam song. Here. What about the little Yoda lesson? So I'll just let you take the picture of this. Somebody wanted the poem. So Little Yoda lesson, Vinodji, I skipped over it. I'm sorry. I will tell you in very brief. That lesson is entirely yoga taught to storytelling. You already know this. The students learn best through stories. You can tell, do this pose, do that pose. They will be very bored. So we teach us story-wise doing the Little Yoda. And essentially, the story is there was once a warrior, and then you do the warrior pose. He went down the bridge. You do the bridge pose. He saw a cobra. He saw a dog. Like this, and then you do the cobra pose and the dog pose, just like I showed you. If you're uncomfortable teaching it and yoga is not something you're familiar with, please involve your yoga teacher or you call me. I will also come very happily and teach for you. But the more you involve somebody that understands these postures, the better it is. That they don't do the class in your classroom. Little yoga lesson, you take them to an AV room or like some sort of outdoors with yoga mats, something for their knees so they're not getting hurt, and then they can do the postures. For that only I had given that cue card. That is where, sorry about this. So it goes like this. So there was once a warrior. Okay, this is the warrior pose. He went down the mountain and then to the opposite side. So you're doing both sides. Then he climbed up a bridge and down the other side of the bridge. You're doing this. He found another bridge and climbed on top. You do the bridge. He saw a cobra. And when you do cobra with children, you can say, how did the cobra, what sound do you think the cobra made? So it made, so you can do the cobra pose. Let them lift up and go. Okay. And then who did he see? He saw a dog. What sound did the dog make? Do the dog pose and say woof woof. He saw a cat. What sound did the cat make? Meow. He saw a cow. What sounded? So like this, you can teach the lesson. Okay. This needs some more time. We don't have time. So you take this. I will help you at some point of time. I will send you these things. That's why I said this sort of this is all there in your book. These are pictures taken. He found a tree, and this is tree pose. These are all there in your book itself. But the addition things that I thought was something like this. You can get a more child-friendly image. I'll send it across. You can see that the name of the pose is imposed on the pose itself. Crow pose, camel pose, down dog. You can see that it's a doggy's picture. So you can hand it over. Like each child gets one picture that they are that pose for today. Something like that you can also do is a nice. Okay, 38. Shanti Amma will kill me if I go over there. So you please tell me any other doubts, any questions.